Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Way of the Brush with me, your host, Kris, aka the Name Butcher, aka Hey You, Get Off My Lawn, aka You're Being Creepy Again, Kris. Way of the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and everything under the sun. If you're a first-time viewer, we do a lot of painting talk as well as a lot of what's under the sun, meaning no topics are barred. We'll talk about anything and everything, so be warned. And of course, if you are watching this live, you can ask your questions and such in the chats, whichever direction I might be in for you. And of course, you can also send me an email at Kris@wayofthebrush.com. It is in the description below. And, if you're going to send pictures, send them as attachments in the email. Don't send it off as links to other sites because it's just annoying. And oftentimes there's ads and, all sorts of silliness like that, right? Of course, also in the description below is a link to wayofthebrush.com, central hub of all this silliness. Has links to all the social medias as well as Discord. Discord's been fantastic. Join us on Discord. We keep the conversation rolling there like 24/7. Yeah, it's like 7-Eleven. They open all the time. And, various channels for various needs. Wayofthebrush.com also has links for t-shirts. Want to get yourself a t-shirt? Look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this world. They're wearing a Way of the Brush t-shirt. And of course, if you've purchased yourself a shirt, send a picture of yourself in your shirt and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine, which is also at wayofthebrush.com, because it's nice to put a name to the face and a face to the name. Also at wayofthebrush.com is a link for Patreon support. I'm independent these days. It's pretty much how I make a living. So if you want to help support the channel, help support me and continue to allow me to continue the work that I do, Patreon is how you can help. And of course, there's varying tiers of support with little perks here and there sprinkled throughout. So feel free to check that out and maybe you might consider joining. And if you're not able to support monetarily, i.e. money, clicking thumbs up, liking, following, subscribing, sharing, all of that stuff helps me as well. And all it takes is a couple clicks of a button and you're helping me out tremendously. Big thank you to Carl, a.k.a. Guymere Alfer, a.k.a. Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Check him out if you love yourself some beer and you love yourself some Blood Bowl. Beer and Blood Bowl is where it's at. We always take time to thank Carl for taking the time out of his busy day to create the email jingles that play before the email segment of the show. So always much love to Carl. And of course, speaking of love, big thank you to my baby brother Evan for creating the intro-outro music that plays at the beginning and end of this show. Always much love to him. Oh, and he also did the other intro for our Monday night game nights. He wrote that little ditty. Ditty? Is that a term they still use? Ditty? He wrote that ditty? I don't know. Ditty actually kind of sounds a little bit wrong, doesn't it? Maybe. Possibly. So always much love to my baby bro, Evan. Oh, man. Ghost of Starman Deluxe. Monkeys Assemble. Quirk over on Twitch. Quirk-O. Hey man, haven't seen you in a bit. You haven't aged well. Winky. I haven't aged well. I haven't aged well. I haven't aged well. Yeah, it's entirely possible. I probably have been very slow on the aging of gracefully and peacefully. These the comments are coming in kind of slow here. Oh, there we go. Mike Grimshaw, hey Kris, I want to come over for a little ditty. Yeah, perhaps it sounds a little bit off. A ditty, yeah, I don't do. Is that a term they use? Ditty? I don't know. It just doesn't quite sound right. Another one I often use is, shit, I can't remember it now, but either way. Grim over on Twitch, howdy y'all. George, hello George. It's been a while since we've spoken. I haven't done the Discord. Usually after Way of the Brush, I usually head over to Discord. We head over to the voice chat, talk for a bit. I've been busy lately, and today's is no exception. As soon as we're going to try and stick to our 120 minutes today because after the show I do have other things to take care of. So yeah, we're gonna try and keep it, on schedule today. So no rants, no ravings. Ghost Starman Deluxe. Better to be diddying than diddling, methinks. Yeah, no diddling. Yeah, you get in trouble for the diddling. I'm pretty sure you get in trouble for it anyway. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm no expert, but yeah. Yeah, usually we have some gaming talk, but I haven't seen if because usually we're talking about like the latest releases. Games Workshop has been pumping out things like mad, and yeah, all I see right now is the Zote for Blackstone Fortress, which I think I'm going to pick up. Blackstone Fortress, I'm going to pick that one up, and I can see Fabius Bile. But Blackstone Fortress, I've been more and more intrigued by that one, and yeah, I think I'm gonna have to pick that one up, and I'm gonna have to get all the expansions for it, all that stuff, and yeah, because it looks like a lot of fun. I realize it's essentially like Warhammer Quest. Well, it is Warhammer Quest, right? And kind of random adventures, but I don't know, there's so many unique models in there that look like they're a lot of fun. And any of you out there who are painterly inclined, which I imagine is quite a few of you, considering who tunes in to listen to me rant, that there's just so many models in there that would be very, very interesting to paint and to have a bit of fun with. And yeah, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. I think I might have to pick it up. Mad Mock, yo. Legion, hey Kris, quick question. Have you finished the Eldar Corsairs? I have not finished all the Corsairs. In last week's episode, which actually just came out this Wednesday on YouTube, I finished the Corsairs. And by the end of that 2-hour session, all I had to do was paint the rim, and I've already gone through and painted the rims. What did I paint the rims? You guessed it, snot green. Well, it's not snot green. It's what? War Boss green, I think is the green. Do I have it on the table still? No, I don't still have it on the table. But yeah, it was War Boss green. I just did an edging of War Boss green. It's Agrilian Earth on the base, and then War Boss green. I might throw some grass tufts on there. I've got a bunch from like Gamer's Grass. I also have some of the Citadel stuff. Yeah. Gamer Grass. I like these ones here. I got these, yeah. They got like the flowers, and you can see kind of like there's 4 colors in this assorted set. Yeah. These are fun. I use these, I think, on the Relic Blade. Stonekin Battleborn. And I used some flowers and such just to, kind of brighten up the base and, all that stuff. Aaron C. Howdy, Kris, and my fellow monkeys. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Quirk. Just have a rim job left to do? Yeah, just a quick rim job. So, yeah, I didn't finish all of the Corsairs because I have like 20-something. And I took like a chunk of half of them, and then I started filming that. And I'll return to the Corsairs this week, actually, for getting projects done. I filmed, yesterday. I worked on my Aeronautica, which I don't have on my table. I put them over in my other room. And yeah, so the Imperial side is tabletop. I can start basically filming with those. And of course, that is the goal. I just want to do them quick tabletop. Next, I'll be working on the Tau. I'll probably make a few videos on them before I get to some of the fine-tuned type of stuff, like doing like the canopies, weathering, things of that nature. Just getting all those things prepared and such. I've got a bunch of projects on the desk right now as it is. Oof, all sorts of projects. I've got too many. I've got too many projects on the go. And I have not picked up a lot of new models, although I did pick up a bunch of Necromunda stuff and everything like that. And I also want to do the Necromunda terrain, so I was thinking about making videos of those stuff as well. I know a few of you on Discord have been working on, who was it, Monster? I think Monster was painting the wall sections from Dark Uprising. did a nice little OSL glow on the lights and everything like that. I thought that was really fantastic. If anybody's in the Discord, I think it was in the work of progress, or it might have been a completed terrain. I can't remember, but yeah, he did a really fantastic job on there. It's a really nice glow, and it's just, very, very nice. The Gim, hi. 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 Are we high? Hi. Lost my place here. The Diggery Dude. The Diggery-Dude. Is that like that instrument from Australia? The didgeridoo? Hello, Kris and monkeys. Hope you're all doing well. Finally able to catch a live show again. Well, welcome back. The Diggery-Doo. And of course, it's kind of funny having Quirk coming around. I was actually thinking that I was, going to reach out to Quirk and invite him onto the show. But I know Quirk is probably very busy these days, working a real job. And, of course, I don't know if you actually are working, but like actual working. He's going to leave a bunch of comments, I'm sure. Legion, which color scheme do you have in mind for the Tau, and will you do a vehicle for them? Will I do a vehicle for them? Huh? I do have a color scheme in mind for the Tau. I'm talking about the Tau from Aeronautica, the new Tau from Skies of Fire, because it comes with some Barracudas and hammerheads. Not hammerheads, tiger sharks. And I do have an idea in mind. When I used to collect Tau, I had this really kind of blue-purple as the main color, accented with black and silver. And so I'm thinking of something like that, or I might actually use some Turbo Dork and use some of the color shift. I think that Tau Flyers would be kind of fun with some color shift, especially in comparison to the Imperial stuff, which tends to be very flat and kind of natural colors, versus Tau aliens, you know what I mean, and have, all sorts of crazy crap at the disposal, right? So I'm thinking like something like that for the Tau. Of course, I'm completely open to suggestions. If anybody has any suggestions as far as what I should paint Tau Flyers, like what kind of color scheme. I want to do something different, something that's not seen too often, and so yeah, that's why I was thinking of like my old color scheme for them. I don't know if I have any pictures. I know I've taken pictures of them, but I don't know if I have any pictures of them. But anyway. Old Man Logan, hey there, Kris and monkeys. Happy Way of the Brush Day. Quirk, you'd be surprised. Yeah. But yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you, Quirk. Come on the show, sit down and reminisce and talk wargaming and what have you. I don't know how much wargaming you've been doing lately, so I don't know if you've been up on all the recent releases, and 9th edition coming out soon. So yeah, hopefully. Dark Commission, hi Kris and folks. Hi Dark Commission. Aaron Seach, digital camo on the Tau. Digital camo on the Tau. Yeah, I could. I don't have this. I don't think I have the stencils for it though, because I probably just airbrush it. Doing it by hand, I've shown doing digital camo by hand, especially on small scale stuff, like doing like that digital camo on like Tau armor and stuff like that. I've shown that. I'd probably use a very similar technique to achieve that particular look on the Tau. But digital camo on Tau, I mean, like, I've seen that 100 times, either in gray or browns, maybe even greens, but it's usually gray and browns. You see that mottled camo pattern. And I, honestly, doing a digital camo pattern doesn't really excite me. Quirk, yeah, I can do that. I haven't played much, but I did just buy full Custodes Army, War of the Shadow, wink wink. Trying to get back into it. Yeah, have you been been gaming at all? That's cool. I don't know what your schedule's like, and so I have no idea. I've been meaning to give you a holler and have you come and sit in one day, because I know that there's many of the monkeys that are curious as to what Quirk does these days. For anybody, spoiler, he's in real estate. Anybody who really doesn't know, I'm sure a bunch of you already knew. I'm sure. I'm sure you're following Quirk's blog. I don't even know if he has a blog. He might. He might have a blog. I don't know. Okay, so we are, you know what? Like, really, we are a little bit light today on, I have a blog. Yeah, Quirk's blog. Don't you have a blog? I don't know. I'd love to read it. Yeah. I don't know. I thought you did. Don't you? Do you do any social media stuff or anything like that? Or do you just keep it pretty low-key these days and just, try and stay professional? Is that what it is? You're trying to stay professional? Did you delete all your social media stuff? Is that what you did? I don't know. See, this is why we got to have Quirk sit in, so I can harass him like this and ask him a bazillion questions. Quirk, I have an Insta, that's about it. Oh, okay. But is it like your personal thing, or is it like work related where, you're showing houses and, shit like that? Ghost Starman Deluxe. Job opening at real estate firm exists, Quirk. It's free real estate. I don't get it. Quirk. Oh, it's at the Quirk the Wargamer. Okay. Oh, there you go. Everybody wants to keep up on what Quirk's up to. There it is. At Quirk the Wargamer. Quirk the Wargamer. Not the Wargamer Quirk. And not the Quirk Wargamer. I don't know where I was going with any of that. Oh, man. So, it's actually pretty quiet today. I have just been getting things together. We're doing a little early Father's Day thing going on today because the wife has to work tomorrow. So, no breakfast in bed for poor old Kris or anything like that. Actually, I don't even know if I've ever done breakfast in bed. I mean, I've eaten food in my bed, but I don't know about a full-on breakfast in my bed. Can't say that I have. I'm sure at some point, maybe, but yeah, I don't know. Breakfast in bed might be a little bit overrated anyway. Quirk, last time we talked, you wanted to know if crack was a suppository. Oh yeah, because I asked it during the show. Because we were on some sort of crazy subject when the show started, and then I was like, if anybody knows, it's gonna be Quirk. Ghost of Starman Deluxe. It's quiet. Too quiet. Mad Monk. Mine is at Krakencock. Krakencock? Lovin'. Crackcock lovin'? I don't know if that's serious. Philip Yee at Kris, have you heard of the masterpiece video game that is called The Last of Us 2? The Last of Us 2 or 2? Which 2? The number 2 or The Last of Us 2? Like, oh, that's The Last of Us 2. No, that's The Last 2. Or is it 2-2? Like it's a sequel. Yes, I have heard of it. Excuse me. I have heard of it. It's a PlayStation, which I don't have, or my son, although he has been considering picking one up because the one with Norman Reedus he really wanted to get, and he considered picking up a PlayStation. I mean, got enough damn video games going on around here. I don't really need any more. I actually don't play a lot of video games. I've been kind of tempted sometimes to play some Call of Duty, but meh. My kids play it enough that I just vicariously, live through that experience. Yeah, then sometimes I bust out the World of Tanks. I play it on Xbox. We game on Mondays on Twitch for our game nights, and we've been doing more or less like the board games, multiplayer board games, not so much action or anything like that. Although I do have Insurgency as well, first-person shooter, as well as Counter-Strike. But we've been doing a lot of board games, Catan Universe, Talisman, Risk, just that kind of stuff. Just us playing and trash talking each other, pretty much. And of course, we open it up, to any of the the monkeys, join us on Discord, and we collect up around 6:45. We usually play around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's a lot of fun. Although you can't really watch the stream if you've got young ones about, or you're in a church setting, or at a funeral or anything like that, you can't really watch the show because there's a lot of cursing and a lot of trash talk, and a lot of anger. A lot of anger flies around, but it's good. It's cathartic. Oh, but right, Philip. Yeah, to answer your question, yes, I have heard of the Masterpiece. I don't know if it's a masterpiece, but from what I understand, the Last of Us, the first one, was really good. The other one, I can't remember what that Norman Reedus one was called. That one looked interesting. We watched like the initial gameplay of it, and it looked really good. It looked fun. Mad Monk, no, okay. Arturo Petit, well, hello, my dear monkeys. After a D&D game that lasted until 4 a.m., I'm destroyed as usual. In the game you were destroyed, or just because you were up till 4 a.m.? Either way. Philip Yee, Kris, please, for the love of God, don't let your son play it. Why? Death Stranding, that's it, yeah. My son's my son's like 20, what is he, 24? 24. He's an adult. Unless, of course, you mean that it's, even for an adult, they shouldn't be playing it. I don't know. I don't know what you mean by don't let my son play it. My kids are adults now. I don't have children. I mean, when I talk about my kids, I mean, they're my kids, but they're adults. So, it's not like they're little kids. It's not like I've got, like, the job of being a dad and, trying to screen what kind of things they're taking in. Yeah, for the most part, that's not my job anymore. That, and the fact that passed a long time ago. Once they started hitting with the preteens, that's when you kind of like, okay, well, start to figure it out. Kind of let me see what you got, kid, and let's go from there. Make a mistake, okay, let you make a mistake, but as long as you learn from it and grow. Greenleaf Terrain Studio. Do you even lift? Do I even lift? You know damn well I don't. In fact, the last bit of exercise that I even got as a miniature painter of shaking my own paints, I picked up a paint shaker. Oop, is this going to go that far? It's not going to go that far. Well, maybe I can unplug it. I wonder if it's wireless or battery. It's got a battery in it. Nope, don't have a battery. But yeah, I picked up a paint shaker. You just put your paint right on top there, and then just. It is possible that one could use this in other capacities, but I mean, it's not. It's heavy. It's got a heavy base to it because when it vibrates, it's got to shake up your paint, right? But I picked up one of those. The last little bit of physical exercise that I used to do, shaking up my paints. Yeah, I've totally outsourced that, and so I'm just gonna wither away into like a little Mr. Burns kind of thing, and with no muscles. Old man Logan, yeah, your boy is a grown ass man child. Yeah. Greenleaf Terrain Studio, you can put your bum right in there. I don't know if I can put my bum right in there, but I could put that right in my bum and just give it a good sit. I don't know. It's pretty. It's not like super loud, but it is pretty loud. I posted a video on Instagram, and yeah, let's see if we can hear it. Anyway. So yeah, that's a new toy. I just kind of, got a little bit, like, I had posted the video on Instagram. I think it was also on Facebook. It went there as well. But, like, anybody who's played with, like, the contrasts, and, yeah, look, I did that video yesterday. And this is, like, the sediment collects on these pretty fast. But it works really, really well, and pretty darn quickly. Let me see here if I can find one of the infamous colors. Where is it? Ooh, Space Wolf Gray is a good one. So Space Wolf Gray, right? You can see it's got quite a bit of sediment going on. I can sit this right on there, let it go for about a minute. Holy man, that's loud on the table, eh? It's because it's shaking my whole table. I don't even know if the camera's vibrating. Probably pretty loud to you guys, but... Oh, yeah. Just a good couple minutes. That's all you need. Yeah, there you go. Look at it. See, it's starting to break up, swirling, because it's a mini vortex mixer. It's supposed to be able to handle up to 50 milliliters. That's what it's designed to handle. Just about almost all of my paints are about 50 milliliters. Yeah, it's almost all completely gone now. So anyway, I was just illustrating there. But like I've got like a lot of metallics, scale 75 colors, a lot of Citadel colors. I tested it out on what was it? Oh, I was playing around with, because one of the videos I was I had to mix this up, and I actually used a stick to stir it up. I used like the little the GW spatula thing. I used that to give this a really good mixing. But since then, obviously the medium has collected on the top and the pigment has fallen. I put this on the mixer, and it was mixed like a good 60 seconds, and it was mixed, which I think is really important. And yeah, there's a lot of colors. Metallics are a big one. The contrasts, we're shaking it by hand. Like I was on one of the live streams, and I was shaking up the contrast, and I was shaking for a while trying to break that up. And you got to get rid of, like, when you have that gathering on the bottom, to get your best results, you got to make sure that it's thoroughly shook. So that's the way you want to go about it. But a big one was for the metallics, and then of course I've got other paints. Now, mind you, like these bigger bottles here, these are 118 mils, but I put them on there, and you probably hear that little clacking sound. That's the agitator inside the bottle. But yeah, works great, works just fine. I think really what they're discouraging is kind of like the bigger containers, like larger containers. But yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm happy. I haven't tried it out in anything other than a mixing capacity, but there's always room to experiment. Arturo Potet. Important question. Apple, lemon, or coconut pie? Ooh. I guess it really depends on the coconut pie. But I am more of a lemon pie. Like lemon meringue. Oh, I love lemon meringue. A little bit of, icing on top. Yeah. Me likey. Old man Logan. That face though, I can't unsee. Yeah, well, it's got to stay down here. I can't really move it or do anything else with it, because it'll get used in other ways that the manufacturers said no, it can't be used that way. CW Kreiner. Kris is losing it. Time for emails. You know what? I'm actually pretty light on the emails today. Yeah, I've only got one to do. I've got one, and it's from Scott. So, yeah. That's it. We had a whole bunch last episode. And then this week, yeah, it's kind of quiet. I don't know. Like, is it because, we did the giveaway and now we don't have to do anything else? This is 301 episode You know, last week we did a giveaway. Was it Matt? I believe it was Matt. His name was Matt. He had won Start Collecting box, and he already got it. I sent it to him. I bought it like that Sunday, and sent it to him, and he got it like Tuesday or Wednesday. So GW is pretty fast in getting those orders to you when you place that order. But yeah, so congratulations to Matt for winning that. When is the next milestone? When should we do another giveaway? I can't do giveaways every episode, for God's sakes, man. I'm not made of money. And yeah. For God's sakes, people, please. Not made of money. Wait. No, not made of money. I just checked. Old Man Logan, add it to your Amazon list, dude. The Badger mixer works great for GW paints. Doesn't fit in dropper bottles, though. Doesn't fit in dropper bottles, though. Add the shaker to your list. Yeah, that's shaker. That one is a little bit pricier than the one that you commonly see. That's the same kind of vortex. Just look up vortex, mini vortex mixer, in whatever shopping platform you like, and I'm sure you'll find the comparable ones. Somebody else had posted on Discord that Artist Opus does one as well, and it's exactly the same one that I see a lot of. And the only reason I went with that one, this particular model, was because the smaller ones are 3,000 RPM, and this one here is 5,600 RPM. Higher RPM, does it really make a big difference? I don't know. I don't think so. It definitely gives you more vibration. It has a broader standing foot, so it's really quite sturdy. As you may have seen, well, you didn't really see it, but the table shook. I didn't realize how much the table shook, but yeah. I was playing with it yesterday. I didn't really notice the table shaking, and then I guess because it's so quiet now, because usually I have my music blaring, and I'm just kind of doing my thing, and then once I'm trying to be somewhat professional and presenting, I didn't realize how much of a vibration that really made, especially because when I put my finger on it, right, it's not that noticeable. I got it running right now, but as soon as I do a paint, the whole table shakes. Oh yeah. Anyway. Aaron Seach, where did you find this device? May have to pick one up if mine ever takes a shit. That one I just got off Amazon. The company that I see is pretty common is called 4Es, like the letter E, plural. So 4Es, and it's advertised as for like nail art, painting, and laboratories. That's the big one, is laboratories for like the vials and stuff like that, and they just just do it that way, right? But yeah, that's the big one. That one gets advertised as the mixer for laboratories, because they're also, I'm pretty sure they say that they're waterproof, spill proof. I don't know how it is. I'm not going to put that to a test, because spilling paint on it, I mean, because it's going to go everywhere, because it creates a vortex, and obviously, what is that called when the vortex and the water carries up through the container? I don't want to say it's centrifugal, but it's somewhere along those lines. But anyway, it can travel up, and because I did it with one of the bottles that I could see the medium, and I could see it traveling up the sides as it was creating that little vortex through the center. But yeah, even on GW paints it works, which you think, oh, GW paint's so thick, but no, once you get it going, it mixes right up. Daniel CS, I put an agitator in my bottles and use the paint mixer. Even scale 75 come out smooth after 30 seconds. Yeah, I haven't tried this. I haven't tried scale 75. I've tried Turbo Dork. I just did a quick little thing with the Turbo Dork just to see how fast it mixed, and Turbo Dork just mixed right up. Citadel Metallics, it works. opaque colors appears to work. Contrast, it's almost a must because like a lot of the colors that have like the sediment builds up really fast. But yeah, the big one was for metallics and scale 75. Yeah, anybody watching me do any of the live streams where I'm painting, and I'm shaking some of those scale 75 colors for a while. My golden high flow and stuff like that, my golden colors, they're pretty thin bodied, so, and they already have agitators in them, and you know, they just spin right up. Old Man Logan, pecan pie. Jabba's left nut. How does it work with Citadel's white? Mine just thick and clumpy bottles of crap. You know what? I haven't tried the white actually, because I know like ceramite white, you get that little layer of black medium on top of it. Oy! I hit a model. It poked me. So let's have a look here. You know what? Let's find out. I took my other camera down. I should have left my other camera up. Let's see here. Let's have a look. Oh yeah. So you can probably, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but there's black, like the dark mediums in there. Now this is already feeling a little thick. I don't know if this will even go. Let's give it a try. Artur Patet, I would pay to see Kris with an afro. Say what? Oh, Joe V. Kris is Bob Ross of painting minis. Thank you. Sorry, you gotta try and keep it like kind of in the center so that it can build that little vortex. It's basically like anybody who's done it, used like an orbital sander. That's essentially what this motor is. It's an orbital sander motor. And it just shakies up the paint. Old Man Logan, been meaning to send some emails, but I can't seem to get my photos right. Yes, I know you have gone over it with me several times, but me no gooda. Me no gooda. Me no gooda. All right. Old Man Logan, you need to do a giveaway every week until I win. Or I can find them. Just thought we could use your links so you can get a small kickback. Table won't shake when you're sitting on it, Kris. If I just plant this on my chair and just have a good sit. Alright, that was a while. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah. I mean, it didn't go all the way up to the cap, but it is creamy looking now. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but yeah, and it's flowing too. Because when I turn it over, it still looks like there's some chunkiness to it. I'm sure if you really, really need to get rid of some of those chunks, I really wouldn't suggest adding like a lot of medium or anything. Like taking some like Lamy medium and adding like a drop or two, and then giving it a really good mix. To really kind of break up those chunks, I think you have to kind of go in there with a mixer and, you know, press those chunks, kind of like, you know, when you're doing pancake batter or, you know, that kind of thing, right? Get the lumps out. But I think invariably, especially with like a lot of these colors that have a lot of the white, you know, they get chunky. Whatever that recipe is for Citadel, yeah, like the white, like the ceramite white. Now, don't get me wrong, the ceramite white, this is really fantastic white for sitting on top of like really dark colors. Like if you went predominantly dark on the model, but you want to pick out like some small areas and, you know, make them nice and bright, yeah, laying down a base coat of this on that area works really, really well, because the pigment, there's so much pigment in this. But yeah. Mad Mock, sexy. Go Starman Deluxe. Just realized I never picked up the paints I needed when I went to the local GW early today. FML. Yeah, that's why you need like a grocery list. I give the wife heck all the time. You know, because she comes home and, oh, did you remember this? Oh, no. Listen, well, you're supposed to put it on your list, because that's the whole point of the list. Because when you go, you got the list, and you know what I mean. And so when you go to, you know, your local hobby store, you know, you got your list. Oh, I need this color, and then, you know, you also have some possible alternatives to colors, and you go, oh, okay, well, maybe I can get some of this, and you know what I mean, like, instead of just trying to remember it all, because, you know, I know a lot of people think they have great memories, and some people do. Some people's memories are not really that good. Voice of the Emperor. £99, £159 in the UK, depending on what mixer you go for. Ouch. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, they're not cheap. I didn't say they were cheap. And in fact, this model that I have, um, you know, it wasn't cheap. But I liked it, and then they had me sold on the larger footprint because it stands out more, and a higher RPM. That was really the selling point to me. The price, like it was, this was only like $40 more than the common one that I see, which is kind of like this little egg-shaped looking thing. Yeah, I see that one very quite a bit, and that one's like, I think it's 3,000 RPM, which, you know, should be plenty fine. And in fact, I'm thinking that like with an orbital type of motor, I'm thinking lower RPM actually might be better. High RPM, you know, you can get it really, you know, really fast, but a lower RPM, it's kind of like the idea is kind of like hard drives. If you're anybody's familiar with, you know, computers and stuff like that, you know, 7,000 RPM hard drives sometimes outperform 10,000 RPM hard drives. For anybody who's using actual hard disks and not everything solid state now, but yeah, at least in my experience in the past, yeah, 7,500 RPM or 7,200 RPM hard drives operated faster than the 10,000 RPMs, because oftentimes they would have read errors because they're spinning so damn fast, right? Versus, you know, that pretty reliable speed that everything is optimized to, you know, run at, right? And it could be the same way with like an orbital motor as well, because like I'm sure with orbital sanders, a high RPM might not always be the best, because you could end up just, you know, basically just tearing a surface up, you know, versus a slower or steadier motor. And then plus two, when it runs at a lower RPM, it also typically, at least most motors, have a bit more torque to them, you know. But who knows? I just got the thing. It just arrived yesterday, and so far, I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I just need to find a proper home for it. I don't know if it'll reside in my main painting area, or if I'll have it behind me, you know, and when I grab a bottle, I'll just, you know, give it a quick mix and then get to work. Or I might just have it on the table with me. I don't know. Either way, I have to figure out how it incorporates into my new workflow, right? So, yeah. Mad Mock, he said creamy. Jabba's left nut. Can't believe that worked. You can't believe that worked? What? The doing the white paint? Yeah, if I left it on there longer, it probably would mix it up better. And in fact, because of the way it vibrates, and you know, because like I said, it's an orbital motor, right? So it's a little motor. It's doing this, and it's like a little wobble plate, and that's what it's doing. And the way it oscillates, right, creates a little. I don't know. Is it really a vortex? You know what I mean? Like, you know when water drains, right? But if you shake water, and you know what I mean, you create that little vortex in the middle, and that's essentially what this motor's doing when it's mixing paint. And if you have an agitator in your bottle paint, yeah, that'll mix up even better, because it'll send that thing flying around inside there. And yeah, but yeah, I mean, with the ceramic white, I mean, like if I left it on there longer, would it break up the pieces from that slight vibration, kind of like an ultrasonic cleaner? You know how it kind of like vibrates the surface and, you know, creates the little cavitation bubbles and, you know, knocks debris off of a surface. Will that vibration break down those larger chunks in there? Because are they really solid, or are they just kind of, you know, the pigment gathered together and just, you know, gravity, for all I know? Could be gravity. Could be the same reason why asteroids collect up and, you know, build up. It's the same reason why pigment, you know, it's a characteristic of gravity. I don't know. And I don't know how many people have done studies onto this particular phenomenon, but yeah. I'm not about to go out there and write a science paper on this, as I do not know enough of the physics to speak intelligently on it. Anyway, Daniel CS. If you need to dampen the vibration, there's a simple answer. Buy a 12 by 12 concrete patio piece from a hardware store, about $2 US. Put a foam block under each corner, and you're in business. Interesting. It works with 3D printers. Really? Yeah, because like I know with the PLA printers, like the bigger ones, right? They have that, you know, the carriage, you know, moving, and of course, you know, most prints take like hours and hours and hours to accomplish, you know, depending on the size of the print, right? But yeah, I've never heard of that. Like just a little patio stone with just some, you know, the styrene foam on the corners. That's interesting. I will have to bear that in mind. Now, the concrete patio. You're saying about a 12 by 12 patio stone. Those are usually about what, less than an inch thick, right? Interesting. Yeah, I'll bear that in mind, Daniel. I'll bear that in mind. Good advice. Ghost of Starman Deluxe. Shh, Kris. Me big dum dum, okay? Me big dum dum. Me big dum dum. Arturo Patet. A way to mix paints that I've used is a little more extreme. First, you need to take the paint out of the bottle, then an electrical screwdriver, and then mix the thing by hand. Oof. Yeah, I mean, if you're doing like a big, vat of paint, sure. Get that big paint mixer for, the cordless drills. It's like the mixing, the batter mixers, right? It's the same kind of thing. That one, initially was designed for labs, but I mean, I've seen it advertised for nail salons because, a lot of time nail polish, it separates. Do I still have the bottles of nail polish? I think I gave them to my daughter. I think I did. I think I gave those to her because I was done playing with them. Right? I just showed them in a video, and I was like, I don't need them. And she liked them. She liked the color shifting. Color shifts, man, they're fun. It's fun. It's fun. Where am I? David Vega. Morning, monkeys. Morning. Arturo Petit. Then I dropped some medium and put them in the dropper bottles. FU GW pots. Sure. Aaron Seach. That trick with the foam and the brick works very well. Oh yeah? Okay. Yeah, you do it for yours? Are you doing it for your mixer or are you doing it for something else? Do you have a printer, Aaron? I don't know. I don't know what Aaron's setup is like. I've never been over to Aaron's house, so I don't know. Let alone any of the other monkeys. Wait. No, I don't think I have it. Anyway. Daniel CS. Mine is 2 inches thick. Giggity. The voice of the Emperor. Dropper bottles have their own issues. I'm constantly unclogging them, and I hate it. Yeah, there is no good solution. People go on about dropper bottles versus paint pots. They both have their pros and cons. Just like brushes, just like miniatures, just any aspect of basically anything that humans create. There's pros and cons. Nothing is perfect. And I think really that's what it is people's misconceptions of perfect and totally ideal. Ideal is, it's close to, what you really want, I suppose, as opposed to being perfect. The idea of perfect. There's nothing that's perfect. You'd be much happier in your life if just, you move past that. It's, But there's good options and there's worse options, right? Paint pot. Like a paint pot. One of the biggest things that annoys me about paint pots is when paint gathers in behind the lip, right? And it obstructs closing the lid, and you got to constantly clean that out. It's a bit of maintenance, but unless you want your paint drying up, you got to keep that clean. You know what I mean? And same thing with dropper bottles. Most of my dropper bottles, sometimes when they do have agitators in them, and you're shaking it, the agitator can get stuck up in that nozzle. Sitting there squeezing the paint, and all of a sudden builds that back pressure, and the whole nozzle comes squirting right off, and then it's all over your palette or model or whatever, and you've wasted a whole bunch of paint, right? And that's one of the big ones, wasting paint. And I don't understand why anybody would want to switch Citadel paints to dropper bottles. I don't know why you'd bother going through the process. Why not just buy dropper bottles? Water-based acrylic paints are just water-based acrylic paints. They're all the same. And yeah, there's very nuanced things in between them, but yeah. Like, for example, ceramite white. Yeah, you're only going to get this in a paint pot from Citadel. I like this white. I don't know if there's any other whites that are just like this. Does anybody know? Does anybody know of any other white out there that covers as good as this? Does anybody know? Let me know, please. Please let me know. Because I've tried a whole bunch of paints, and ceramite white sits on top of a black really nicely in 2 thin coats. So, you tell me. Where am I? Diggler Dude, you've probably answered this question before, but what kind of brush cleaner and conditioner do you use? I use Masters. Masters brush cleaner and conditioner. This is what I use. Doing the live stream yesterday, getting projects done, I busted this out a lot of times. I just love the smell. It's almost tempting to use this as regular body soap, just, you know. But yeah, I have that little one for my models, and I have my bigger one for, you know, my big canvas brushes. Now, you know, little big old hair in here. It's a brush hair. It's a brush hair. It's not a pube. Or maybe it is a pube. No, it's not a pube. Could be a pube. It's not though. Anyway, could be a mustache hair. No, it was even on both ends. Anyway, yeah, I use this for my bigger paint brushes and such. But if you bought this size of tub for your miniature brushes, you'll be fine. And you could even get they even sell like a big tub, like, you know, those big margarine container type containers. Yeah, they even sell those of that kind of soap. I like it. I like the dry soap. I know that there's other brands out there that are more liquidy, you know, more jelly-like. That's fine. You know, I've just used Masters for years and years and years, painting canvas work and painting miniatures. And, you know, when I started really kind of taking seriously the notion of taking care of your brushes, yeah, that's when I started using that. And I really haven't used any other ones. Like, I've tried the brush soap that comes with the Artist Opus set. I've used that soap, and it was pretty similar. I mean, it's comparable. You know, it wasn't like, you know, reinventing the wheel or anything. That's a brush soap, and it comes with your set, so why not, right? But like this little tub here, you know, you get this for less than $8, I think, because I know this bigger one was $10. The price tag still on it? No. Yeah, I think this was around $10. But this brush soap like lasts you a long time. I bought this container a couple of years ago, and I mean, I'm only maybe about halfway down it. Yeah, but yeah, that's what I use for my washing and conditioning. That's what I use. That's all that I use. I've shown in the past using like Vallejo's brush restorer, but that's a completely different thing. The restorers are a completely different beast. And as long as you maintain your tools, having to restore them or to going through the process of restoring them is unnecessary, because as long as you go through daily upkeep, you know, it's like your car, right? If you maintain your car, it runs a long time, reliably for a long time. And same thing with your brushes. Same thing with anything really in life. If you maintain it and keep it and, you know, take care of it, it'll be there every time. Just about every time. Because sometimes things are just prone to failure. Where the hell am I? Aaron Seach. My old paint shaker used to shake the living piss out of the whole table. I figured out in a desperate attempt to stop an earthquake on my table when I mixed paint. Yeah, it's very interesting. I might look into making a little platform to house the shaker. I might, or I just forego it and just, you know, live with the vibration. Live with the vibration. CW Kreiner. Vallejo's Skull White is my preferred white. Yeah, I've used Vallejo's Skull White, and it's not the same as ceramite white, in my experience anyway, unless they change their formulation. But yeah, it does not cover as good on top of a black color as good as ceramite white. And even like White Scar is not the same as ceramite white. They're two different colors, or two different paints. They're not colored, different colors. They're two different paints. The base paints are very rich in pigment. They are formulated a little bit differently. So, yeah. Mad Mock, have you tried Chimera paint? No, I've not tried them. They look just like Andrea paints. They look like the same bottles, same red caps on them, I think. Is it Chimeras? It's Chimera with a K, isn't it? Chimera paint. Or is it apparently... No. I'm seeing Rust-Oleum. Paint a Chimera. What? How to spray paint a Chimera? Rust-Oleum. What the F? Yeah, I thought it was Chimera with a K. Anyway. Did I even spell it right? I might not even have spelled it right. No, I'm pretty sure I spelled it right. Anyway, yeah, I found it was pretty much like Andrea. If anybody's familiar with Andrea paints, which feel very similar to AK and Vallejo, and yeah, because like that's another paint line that I've not played with is Andrea. I've been curious about it, but again, I mean, like, there's nothing at this particular point where, like, I'm like, I need a better white. I need a better black. When you just begin kind of mastering what you have on hand and getting the results that you want, do you really need to move outside of what materials you're using? Unless, of course, your process, you feel, is a little drawn out, taking a little bit longer, or, not efficient, right? Because if you feel like your paint process is not efficient, then yeah, you might want to look into other paints or different techniques or, different tools, anything like that, right? And yeah, but otherwise, I don't, like, honestly, I have like a whack ton of paints at my disposal, many different brands, and I've, through many, many years, experience in various paints. But that was really only because of you guys, the viewers, answering your questions, because a lot of people wanted to know, well, what's the difference between Vallejo white and Citadel white, or can you blend AK Interactive paints with Vallejo, or whatever the questions were regarding paints, consistencies, coverage, you know what I mean, all these things. That's the only reason I got into many other paints. Otherwise, it's completely unnecessary. It's completely unnecessary to veer off into many different brands, other than if you want, for example, to create a very complete kind of color swatch, so that you have every color you want from black to white, and then all the varying grays in between, or even blue grays or brown grays, all the colors of blue, all the colors of red, you know what I mean? And you wanted to have that color swatch, so you went from between Citadel and Vallejo and Scale 75, and you know what I mean? And you could go through, say, 8 layers of transition from just pure bottles. That would be to speed up your process and to make you a bit more efficient acquiring all those different colors, because then you can just do it right from the paint pot, you know what I mean? And you just go from there. Sure, right? But then you're being very choosy as to which paints you need, as opposed to just buying the whole set. Now, if you've got the income and, got the resources to do that, then by all means, who am I to tell you where to spend your money? Go ahead. I don't see much point in it for the most part. And in fact, I encourage everybody to really master the materials you have on hand. That that to me, in my mind, is the hallmark of a master and an artist, is knowing your materials. Having greater experience with a lot of other paints, sure, but mastering what you have on hand, that's what you want to build to. The idea of requiring more paints, because that seems really wasteful to me, because there's going to be paints that you never touch. Like, I have 2 sets of Vallejo down there that I barely ever use. I have model and game, and because most of the time I'm using just Citadel colors. You know what I mean? Like, it's just because it's just the color. They're just paints. They're just water-based acrylic paints. If I was showing oils, then yeah, I would use obviously different oils, and it depends on technique and what I'm demonstrating. But otherwise, yeah, it's not really necessary to acquire every paint from every paint line. And when people tell you a particular paint is better than this or that, that's completely subjective. And a particular artist may have spent years mastering their use with those particular paints, and they do a particular thing that that artist prefers. That does not mean that that paint is better than another company's. Only in that artist's mind and what they're doing, what their particular skill set and what particular techniques they're doing, does it matter. That's why oftentimes when we're talking about paints and I'm talking about brushes, the difference between synthetics and sables, right? And anybody who's relatively new to this hobby, using synthetic brushes, perfectly fine. Go right ahead. But once you start getting more masterful and getting into the nuances of glazing and working with the pigment in very thinned out fashion, does sables make a difference in that regards? And also other paint lines will thin differently. But that's a very nuanced thing, and you're not going to know that until you actually are mastering those particular things. First day on the scene, and people are telling you, no, use these brushes, use these paints, because this is good for this and that doesn't help you. It doesn't help you in any way as a new hobbyist. That does not help you at all. First and foremost, availability and price, right? If you're very serious about painting and want to master it, which takes time and effort and commitment, then you can start looking at other paint lines and really start to explore painting. But you're only once you're at that phase. First day on the scene, you don't need every paint set. That's wasteful, right? It's unnecessary. Same with brushes. Like, the brushes are the same thing. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars on brushes. Well, who spent? I don't know. Really, too many people spending $1,000 on brushes, but like a Winsor Newton brush, they're really top quality brushes. Does everybody need them? No. And the idea that the material is going to make you a better painter is false. And anybody who's kind of presenting it to you like that is, feeding you stories. Only time and practice are what are going to make you a better painter. It's not going to be a particular paint. It's not going to be a particular brush. Not even going to be a particular technique. None of those things. It's time and practice. That is what's going to make you a better painter. Painting lots and lots of practice. Fact of life. So just get that out of your head right now. Especially if you're new to this hobby. Just get that right out of your head. Anybody's opinion on whatever brush, paint, whatever, brush, soap, it's all subjective. It's all personal preference. Voice of the Emperor. I honestly think it's because people aren't confident enough to color match between different paint manufacturers. Is why they use Citadel but transfer to dropper bottles. Right, but I mean, somebody who's relatively new, like, again, if you're very concerned about how much paint you're using, there is a considerable amount of loss transferring the paint into the paint pot or into the dropper bottle. Yes, you can thin it way down, but you're changing the properties of the paint by changing how much the dilution is of medium. Even if you're using Citadel mediums, you're changing its dilution. You're changing the nature of the paint. Again, if you wanted it thinner bodied in a dropper bottle, just buy the fucking bottle. Dropper bottle paint line. They're water-based acrylic paints. They're both the same. Yes, the color variants might be slightly different. Deal with it and move on. I mean, especially if money is a concern and how much you're spending on it, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's very wasteful. Old Man Logan, you should have at least 2 emails. Do I have 2 emails? No? I should have 2 emails? Oh, wait, no, I do. Oh, I do. Yeah, Old Man Logan, you sent one. Gotcha, buddy. I gotcha. Ooh, yeah, show that one off. We'll definitely get to that one today. Where am I in these comments here? I don't know. David Vega, white scar with flow improver. What about it? When we're talking about coverage of paint, white scar and ceramic white, no. Ceramite white covers way better than white scar. White scar flows better because it's a layered paint. It's got more medium to it. But ceramite white covers on top of black very nicely in 2 thin coats. Very nicely. And I don't know of any other paint. Like, you take a white scar and try to apply that on top of black. You got to do like 3, 4, 5 coats, thin coats, to get nice even coverage and smooth. The diggery dude. Cheers, Kris. Thank you. No problem. Mad Mock, yes. Okay. Voice of Ember. I like using the Liquitex white ink, to be honest. Sure. I don't know if I've actually they cover very well. Oh, look at that. This needs to be shook. Hoo-hoo, look at that. You know, maybe I'll film that later. Anyway. Yeah, Liquitex white ink. It covers really nicely. I have not done a side-by-side comparison of Liquitex white ink versus the coverage of, say, ceramite white. I'm a big fan of ceramite white. But oftentimes, if I'm doing a bright paint job, I don't prime dark colors. I prime it white, right? When you want it bright, you prime it white. Very simple. Kemhiri Mimarulugu. I completely butchered that. Kirim? I'll just say Kirim. Add Kris, what do you think about Army Painter paints and wash system? I think they're fine. Army Painter paints are good. They're smooth. They're dropper style bottles for people who care about that. They cover very well. I found that their black was good. I think the yellow was fine. I remember there was a couple colors I was like, they don't cover quite as well as, say, like Vallejo or Citadel or anything like that. But that was a while ago, and I don't often paint with Army Painter, but I've used them in the past. Again, just to garner some experience with the colors and play with them and see how they cover and all that. They're water-based acrylic paints. They cover just fine. They flow, if you're familiar with like Vallejo, dropper style thin-bodied paints. They flow just like that. They're good. There's nothing wrong with them. The shade wash systems, when they first came out with those cans, I was always very curious about that, but I never got into the cans because basically it was like a urethane or whatever, right? I never bothered with that. And then I do have, I have used, like the shade wash. Like, this is a good one. This strong tone, yeah, this is a good one. But I mean, these little paints, you buy that little paint, right? What do you spend? Like $5, maybe? Well, I'm talking about Canadian. Canadians, we get charged at the ass on paints. Like Citadel paint, like this little bottle, it's over $5. These contrast bottles, I think, are $8, $9, something like that. It's pretty pricey. Versus going to an art supply place and picking up a bottle of Golden paint line, and this is transparent paint, very thin bodied. It's dropper bottle. I like these kind of dropper bottles because you can do them one-handed, right? Especially when you're airbrushing and stuff like that. But this is raw umber hue, and you may have seen me use this in videos. This is exactly the same tone as heavy tone from Army Painter, Agrax Earthshade, any of those. Yeah, it's just raw umber hue, but this is very transparent. This is in their transparency line, and this does not cost, well, even per weight. This is what, 4 fluid ounces, and I'm pretty sure this is $15 a bottle. But there's tons here, and I airbrush the hell out of this because I use this for a lot of stuff. I use that on like red because it gives me that transparency, and so I can build up like a really deep dark tone. But yeah, it's water-based acrylic paint. It's all pretty much the same. It's when you get into like the alcohol-based acrylics, enamels, that kind of stuff that the beast changes a bit. Old Man Logan looks like Scale 75 now carries Chimera on their website. Interesting. I'm not familiar with Chimera. I'm not, rushing out to get it. I mean, like, same with like, what was it, Watercolors? I played around with them. They seemed very thick despite being in dropper bottles, but, whatever. Fumble. Chimera paints are supposedly single pigment paints, allowing you to control your paint mixes yourself. Not tried personally, but sort of wanted to buy the set. Sure. And I mean, like, branching out. There's nothing wrong with branching your paints out. But do it in small increments. I mean, give it a try. For me personally, I'm a big fan of metallic paints. And I sometimes, and this is just my own foibles, I often will judge a paint line by its metallics, how they handle metallics. Citadel is kind of lower on my scale of likes for metallic paints. Scale 75, Turbo Dork. Turbo Dork is still relatively new, and so they've been playing with the recipe a bit. But big fan because they're providing colors like all over the place as far as metallics are concerned. So that always scores extra points for me because having various colors and metallics is fantastic, and especially when you have all the means to create the shadows, the highlights, you know what I mean, and you can go anywhere with the metallic tones is brilliant. Rather than most default game lines, it's silver, gold. Typically in the old Citadel lining, which is silver and gold, those were the only two metallics. And then if you wanted other metallics, well, they produced a metallic set, but anyway, it's often metallics. And I just find, that's really where I venture off. So when I'm curious about another paint line, because I tried like MIG Ammo, and I'm a big fan of their metallic line. Their metallic paints are fantastic. They're very comparable to even the Vallejo metallics, like metallic air and scale 75s. Like I said, Turbo Dork, really fantastic, but I find with the scale 75, it's a really fine flake pigment in their metallics, whereas like Turbo Dork, very, very bright and very lustrous. It seems like a lot of readback on how shiny something is, but I found with the scale 75, it covers in like just a couple coats, like 1.5 coats covers an area in the saturation and depth that I like. Whereas with the Turbo Dork, I have to lay a few. It seems like I have to lay a few down. It seems it's more much easier to apply it by airbrush. And when you're doing metallics and stuff like that by airbrush, I really recommend that you keep your PSI lower and work a little bit closer rather than spraying at a high PSI and up close or even farther away, because and then it just dries out and you get the little texture flakiness on it. If anybody who's ever airbrushed metallics and got like flakes all over the place and stuff like that, yeah, your PSI was too high and you were too far. But anyway, what was I going on about? Mad Mock. They have a very limited paint range, which forces you to blind and make your own paint colors. It also helps with color theory. Sure. But if you are wanting to expand and master your paints, you might as well already go with a good paint line. I mean, Liquitex, Golden, these water-based acrylics, and they have tons of hues. They have transparencies. They have opaque colors, and you just got to pay attention. But I mean, once you're used to dabbling with paint from the art world, looking at miniature paints, and you're like, well, what the hell? Like, because I mean, like, you get this much paint in a bottle. I mean, this is 4 fluid ounces. It's 118 milliliters, $15 versus over $5 for how many milliliters? 12 milliliters. So do the math. To get this much paint that I'm getting with this one, are they the same? All right. If dollars are a concern. But yeah, there's no ultramarine blue in the paint line. There's no Blood Angels red in the paint line. If you want those Codex ready kind of colors, then yeah, you might as well just pick up Citadel paints. And if you don't paint that often, yeah, then just buy the citadel paints. Just buy little amounts, and you know what I mean. And because for the most part, like how much painting miniatures we do, I mean, like you really don't go through the paints that fast. You know, even if you are just painting right from the pot or painting it to a dry palette and just working with the color, and you know what I mean, like you really don't burn through the paint that fast. The only people who really burn through paint are commission artists, and if they're using airbrush. And airbrushing, there's tons of waste. There's tons of paint waste in airbrushing. Tons. And don't believe me, just listen to anybody go on about overspray. There's tons of paint is wasted in airbrushing. So, again, if you're worried about, you know, wasting your paint, yeah, you really shouldn't be airbrushing, because you're going to waste a lot of paint, especially doing certain things, getting particular looks and stuff like that. Yeah, sometimes you barely touch the model and you're spraying full force and you barely touch the point just because you want a little bit of paint just to gradually build up in an area. You know, it's tons of waste in airbrushing. Realistically, if you're very concerned with how far your dollar goes in this hobby, which I know there's lots of you out there, get yourself a wet palette and get into the good habit of having a brush to grab from the paint pot, apply to your wet pot, close your paint pot, and work with just the color you have on your palette. And you'll find your paint goes pretty far. Just saying. David Vega, preach, brother. Old man Logan, this conversation always devolves. I think it is brought up just to trigger you. Maybe. I got a lot of triggers though. I've got a lot of pet peeves, even in just this hobby. Just, you know. Anyway. Daniel CS. Honestly, the real difference between GW and dropper paints is that GW pots aren't airtight, so the paint dries out. No, the only time that the paint dries out is when you have that buildup of paint back here or in the front of the lid. So it can be anywhere within that crease, right? That's why you have to maintain your paint pots, which is kind of annoying, but it's a necessary step. When you're done painting, you just take the time just to peel out that little dried gunk of booger of paint inside there, and the paint pot closes tight. I have tons of Citadel colors. There are paint pots. You know what I mean? I have colors like these old hexagonal Deadly Nightshade. Was I just talking about this one? Anyway, Deadly Nightshade. Oh, geez, so old that the little nub broke off. I don't even know if I can get this lid open. Good God. Jesus, I'm going to hurt myself. I cut my nails the other day, and so I have no nails to grab it. I can't grab it, but you can still hear it sloshing. Okay, anybody want to take a guess at how old this paint pot is? Take a guess. I don't even know when the hell was it made. Sorry, I'm just looking for the manufacturer date. Interesting. It gives... You don't see this anymore. At least I don't think you do. No. I'm sure that you can probably look at the material data sheet on these paints, which is probably this conforms to ASTM-D number on the paint pot. I'm sure you can probably look at the material data sheet on it. But like this one here, I didn't realize this from way back in the day, but these Citadel paints, it says warning, harmful is swallowed, but then it contains 2 phenoloxylate oxethanol, which is C12C15, and then ethyl oxalated alcohols. I don't recall these paints ever having alcohols in them. And these were 17.5 milliliters back in the day. But I think somebody's made that observation before in the past, that you used to get more paint in a paint pot, right? Even though these paint pots look about the same size, but this is 12 milliliters and this is 17, right? 17.5, yeah, 17.5 milliliters. But yeah, I'll bet you if I slap this on the paint mixer, whoa, there we go. Oh, I can hear it sloshing. Oh, the vibration. I can't open it to find out, but anyway. Yeah, it sounds more liquidy. Anyway, when were these paint pots produced? That was my initial question, because I don't see a date on here. When were these paint pots around? But anyway, my point being that paint pots, the claim that they dry out all the time. There was an old Citadel one. Do I have one of those old ones around? I wonder if I have any of the old Citadel ones. The screw cap lids. I don't have any around. They're very reminiscent to like the Tamiya's, where these screw open. There are some problems with screw top paint pots. That the paint builds up in the threads, and it can cause the air to get in there, and then or they can seal and become a huge pain to open again. That is a thing. And Citadel used to have a screw top paint pot system. They were a hard plastic bottle with a screw top. They were a pain in the ass, and they dried out all the time. And I was very happy when they went back to these squishy top type lids, And I don't mind paint pots. As long as you have a consistent method for drawing paint out and applying it to your palette, you get consistent results. As long as you're consistent in what you do, you get consistent results. Talked about that one many times. And I always use a different brush to draw the paint out of the paint pot. And I usually draw from the lid. So whenever I give this a really, really good shake, I always draw what I'm going to use. I draw it from the lip of the lid and apply it to my palette. And I always work from a palette, either dry or wet. And as long as you're consistent with how much you're grabbing paint you're gathering on your brush, you'd be fine. The reason why I always use a different brush to draw the paint from the paint pot is so that I'm not damaging the hairs inadvertently on my good brushes that can come to a nice fine point. You preserve the point. Again, it's about maintaining your tools, right? And certain brushes, being old or whatever, get relegated to different duties. Like you wouldn't use your precision paint brushes to do dry brushing, right? Because you're just going to kill the hairs. Anybody, even new people in this hobby know that one. So yeah. But yeah, you just got to clear the booger out of the lid, and the paint pots close up fine every time. Kiram at Kris, I've switched from Citadel to Vallejo and never looked back. Sure. I've used Vallejo. In fact, the first time I really ventured outside of Citadel paints, it was Vallejo. I went to Vallejo. But yeah. Really, it comes down, like, why I still mostly use Citadel paints is because of ease. It's easy to get your hands on Citadel. I don't know of anybody locally who sells Vallejo. No. I have to either go into New York, or I probably have to go to a bigger center to find a place that sells, outside of, like any hobby stores, or even, any kind of art supply or anything like that. Yeah, that's why I often go with golden colors, because I can find this at any art supply place, and if I really want, I just get these. Same thing. It's just water-based acrylic paint. There's nothing magical about them. Ghost Starman Deluxe, 300-year-old paint. Rocked by Vulcan, GW Hex bottles are more airtight than most Vallejo squeeze screw tops. The colors were more vibrant too. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people who, through the lens of nostalgia, reminisce about the older Citadel colors being much more vibrant. Well, I didn't know that those hexagons, that they had alcohol in them. I don't remember alcohol being in them. I don't remember the color. I just, I wish I could open it, because yeah, it's one of the few old Citadel paints I have. A few weeks back, I had shown using or opening my old Snakebite leather, which was from the first range of Citadel colors. Here, let's see. Let's use this little spatula. See if this spatula can help me pry open this lid. I'm gonna get this freaking paint everywhere. I need like a bottle opener. Oh, I have a bottle opener. I have the Adepticon one. There we go. The plastic is really firm, which means it's old. Oh, yeah. Ooh, look at that creaminess. Oop, I think the lid broke, too. The plastic on the lid broke. But, yeah. Let's see. Still wet. And I use this paint because there's boogers inside the lid. But it's been a long time since this baby's been opened. But yeah, you just pop it tight. And it's fine. It'll stay. It'll stay. It'll stay. Go Star Man looks at Kris. Get the kids to open it. That's what they're for, isn't it? Yeah, but my son's got great big meat hooks. I don't know. He might crush the bottle. He's kind of Shrek. He might just crush the bottle. Oh, sorry, Dad. Oh, sorry, Dad. Hopefully he's not listening to this right now. He'll be like, frickin' Dad, talking about me. Holy crap, it's 1:30? Jeez Louise. How long have I been bitching about paints? This show, I could pretty much just call it bitching about paints. Let's do an email because we can and we shall. If you're wearing headphones, turn them up or down, but here it comes. Email time. It's email time. Oh, shit. This one is from our good buddy Scott Radom. Little steampunk robot cop dude. It's a steampunk RoboCop. Jeez, try to say that 10 times fast. Hey Kris, this little fella here was painted for a competition for the Twisted range of minis. They're an Australian company, and it's mostly a steampunk alternate kind of setting with some cool minis like a steampunk Ghostbuster, Mary Poppins, Oliver Twist, and stuff like that. I wanted a really grimy, old-time industrial revolution London look to the mini, coal fumes in the air, piss in the streets, everything dirty kind of a deal. I plan on painting a couple more, but thought I'd hit you this with your most critical eye, as it's for a competition. And you know how it goes with mini competitions. If you win it, it might not be if you win, it might not be a lot of money, but you will get more ass than Sinatra. Women can't resist a man with a paint on his hand. Real deal fact. Thanks for taking a look. Yeah, man, because, you know, like, the girls are knocking on my door all the time, and that's what it's all about, right? That's why we get into mini painting, for the for all the tail that we're gonna get. So I really like this. This is hilarious. Yeah, he is kind of like the what are they called? Bobbies? Like the big cap on them. I like it. I like colors. The metal, like on his hip and his hand, look worn, but the main blue of the armor doesn't feel quite as worn. The baton as well feels kind of light. Feels like you could probably paint like a wood grain in there and darken it up a bit, because I think those batons typically are kind of dark, are they not? I don't know. But I like it. I like the highlighting. I like the metals. I think a few things like the buttons, like on the cuffs, things like that. Well, you did it on the front of the coat, but you didn't do it like on his cuffs. It's not a huge issue, but anywhere where we can really kind of break up surfaces, I do really like your highlighting though. You know, it's consistent with what we see from you. Yeah, I think the baton could be a little bit richer in tone. Oftentimes, I think it's often seen as black. Isn't that baton typically black? It's like a black lacquer they covered in. And you were talking about like the streets, you know, the texture, the environment that he's in. I think you could introduce a bit more color that way for the pave stones. Get them a little dirtier. Introduce, you know, say some warmer tones, or you know, things that just a bit, just to really create a little bit more separation. You know, and you know, give him an environment. And is it a light on his forehead? Like, is it supposed to be like you know, like a police light or something on his forehead? And same thing at his belly button. It looks like on his pants. It looks like that's possibly another light as well. Does he got a bunch of lights on him? I have no idea. I think that's really about it, though. I think something like, oh, you know what would be cool? Just on the base, I think just one or two, like little pieces of paper that look like posters, or you know, bits of posters, or you know, just like detritus on the ground. I think would kind of, you know, give you a bit more character as to what this dude about, because he just kind of like is just, he looks like he's driving just down the street and gonna thump somebody in the head kind of thing, right? And you know, I think you want to really bring out the character, because I mean, like, your painting is really great, and you know, I think that's the next thing that gets you into, you know, elevating, you know, your joy of the painting, because yeah, it's just finding the character. And are his eyes painted? Because that's like another, I can't tell with his hat and everything. The other one too, like on his back or on his shoulders or something, his like police numbers, right? So oftentimes police have little police numbers on them. I don't know. I'm just thinking of like just like little areas, little things that you can build upon the narrative of this guy, right? That's really what I'm thinking of there, is just, you know, anything that allows you to just kind of, you know, create a story with that one model. And I think having like detritus on the base, you know, like pieces of paper or garbage, that kind of thing, that adds more weight to him kind of steaming along with his baton up, right? And yeah, the baton, I think, could go with a more saturated color, or a different color altogether. Yeah, I'm just trying to think here. Yeah, that's about it. Aaron Seach, Adepticon battle opener. Oh, fond memories of trying to pick that bastard up off the table with my big ass meat hands. Yeah, I like that. I still have mine. Mine's over there on the shelf. I actually, here, let's see. Yeah, see, I got my lightsaber there, and my bottle opener's like right there. And there we go. Nope. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Optimized. But yeah, Scott, thank you for the email. And yeah, I think just fine tuning some of those little details, and some of those areas on them look like they're supposed to be lights. I don't know if they would be lights. I don't know. It's steampunk. Would there be lights? Maybe they're candles. I have no idea. And you know, you can make it up as you go, right? But I think adding more things like that to bring the character forward in the piecing, and even with a little model like that, it is an opportunity to tell a story, right? You can tell a little story with the little model, and it's almost like a little mini vignette, right? So thank you, Scott, for sending that in. Awesome stuff, as always. Next email is from our good buddy, Old Man Logan. This is Hulk Smash. Hi, Kris. Been meaning to send this for a while. CNC, welcome. Your buddy, Old Man Logan. And so he did the Hulk from the new... what the hell's the game called? I can't even remember what it's called. I like the skin. I like the highlight. I like the tones. I think I'd like to see his teeth get a little bit brighter. Just a little bit brighter. Not so much for his nails, although you can kind of give that impression that maybe his nails are dirty. You know, where you have that darker tone of color at the end of the fingernails. That gives the fingernails a bit of a dirty look. I don't know if that's really the route you want to go, but... because, I mean, like, if he's done, he's done. And, you know, I think he looks really good. I really like the green. I like his shadows, too, on his shoulders and everything. His muscly bits. Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm digging it. This was for a commission, was it not? Or was it for yourself? I really like your painting on the base, too. The concrete looks really good. I like you got the varying tones in the concrete. I like that. And they got like different colors of brickstone. Brickstone? Cobblestone? I don't know. Anyway, on the other side as well. I really like that. I got the right camera? Yeah, I got the right camera. Yeah. I like your work on the concrete, and I like the brick. I like the varying tones in the brick. Really good stuff. The only thing, this is nitpicking, is the seam lines, mold lines. But I mean, if this was commissioned and that wasn't part of the budget, then obviously I think the customer most likely would be very happy with these results, because it's really good. The green just obviously, I mean, and the Hulk is like what, 80% green, so you know, that's where all your effort's got to go, right? Is getting that green to really pop. It's really bright too. I like it. I like a nice bright green and a bright Hulk smash. But yeah, I think like if this was my piece, the only thing would be is getting rid of the seam lines and the gaps. Otherwise, yeah. Oh, I probably would have picked the teeth out just to be a little bit brighter. But otherwise, yeah. Jabba's Left Nut, that's a good Hulk. George, I am hard time finding a good line of yellows. Any recommendation? Is that an open question, everybody? For finding yellows, I guess it really depends on what you're painting, and like, are you looking to cover in one go, or like what is the process? What is it for? And you know, like, are you looking for like a really bright yellow? Or are you looking for a yellow that covers very well? Are you looking for, you know, again, I mean, like there's many variables. Like Everland Sunset from Citadel, it's this more yellow, but it's closer to a mustard yellow. But it covers on top of dark colors very, very nicely. It covers on top of any other color very nicely in two thin little coats, and it covers very well. Again, it's a base paint, so the base paints seem to cover very well on top of other colors, even dark colors. So brighter colors will cover on top of dark colors very easily. But as far as like paint companies and yellows, Vallejo Game Yellow, I found that one to be pretty good. I'm trying to think. Army Painter, I can't remember if the yellow was as strong. Golden, I use what is this? Dairy Lad Yellow. This one's kind of a orangey yellow. It's almost, you know, it's not quite like a pure yellow. I like that one. It covers very well. Again, I mean, it's really what hue of yellow are you looking for? Are you looking for more of a lemon yellow or more of a sunset yellow? You know, is it, yeah, what are you looking for? Like, what value of yellow? And what are you looking at for it as a base tone, or are you looking for a highlight? Like, what are the variables? Old Man Logan, not a commission, just for me, cause Hulk. Oh, okay, cool, awesome. Yeah, that was the only nitpicky thing I think I can would suggest. I mean, yeah, you can push those edge highlights a little further, and I mean, like, sure, there's a bunch of variables, but I mean, I think really the big one is gap filling and mold lines, getting rid of them. But otherwise, I mean, like I said, that's nitpicky. I mean, if you did that just because you want to play with it and you're gonna play some games with it, then it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Ghost of Starman Deluxe. In regards to painters getting loads of girls, I could just imagine one of those dating site ads saying something like, "This ugly wargamer is demolishing pussy every day. Click here to find out how." This ugly wargamer is demolishing pussy every day. Click here to find out how. He's crushing. Old Man Logan. Yeah, some of the seam lines I missed until after I had painted a lot of them. Yeah, a lot of times too, seam lines, mold lines, and gaps and stuff like that. Yeah, you don't see them until you start throwing primer down. And it's like, oh crap, I missed this. So then you got to go through and then reprime that area. Stuff like that. And then you start painting, and it's like, oh, there's another stupid part right here. And it's like, oh, screw it, whatever. If you were doing it for, competition, stuff like that, then yeah, you pretty much go through like a 2 or 3 prime process where you sand and fill gaps, prime, go through, resand, gap fill, reprime, and you triple check your results. That's if you are concerned with display or competition type of painting. It's a lot of work. Even by that phase, I probably would be bored. As I get older, man, my tolerance for I don't know, bullshit just diminishes. I ain't got time for that. Just want it now. Just give me my toy now. Aaron Seach, Hulk smash, great work. Old Man Logan, thanks Chris, no problem. George, general yellow line of colors. Yep. Play spin the bottle. Pick a line. I mean, anything that I recommend is my own personal preferences, and your workflow can be completely different from my workflow, right? I honestly have no problems with Citadel's yellows. I have no problems with Vallejo's yellows. I've used Scale 75's yellows, Golden's yellows, Army Painter's yellows. What else? Tester, Tamiya, Pro Acryl. Oh, I've even used MIG Ammos, Golden High Flow. I even have yellow ink. Where's my yellow ink? Yeah, I've got some FW yellow ink over here. That covers pretty well. I thought I had in Liquitex as well. Maybe not. I think it might be on my list. But either way, take your pick. I mean, like I said, like my workflow could be completely different from your workflow, and the way I paint could be completely different the way you paint, how you like to work with color. I mean, put your feelers out there, and I mean, I haven't seen anybody give any feedback as far as like what yellow they prefer. I mean, because like a lot of times when you are looking at paint lines, right, you're looking at the black, you're looking at the white, you're looking at the red, and you're looking at the yellow, and then for me, I often look at the metallics, and you're often looking for the pigment strength of those. You want a black that sits on top of a very bright color and covers very nicely and evenly, and yeah. White, same thing. On top of a dark color, you want it to cover really nicely, right? Red and yellow, you want them to be nice and rich and saturated and cover and sit on top of dark colors, and like there's all these things. Oftentimes it is pigment strength, and with Citadel, I mean, their base paints sit on top of dark colors very nicely. 2 thin coats and it sits very nicely, smooth, and you're not obscuring details, and as long as you know how to apply your paint nice and smooth. Fire Drake 18. Fire Drake's showing up just in time, never late, always shows up when intended. What is it? Wizard. It's never late. He arrives precisely when he means to. That's kind of what I do. What time are we at here? Holy camolies, we got 14 minutes left of the show. We're going to do another email. Let's do a jingle. Just because we can. And because, it's fun. And, yeah. Old Man Logan, for a yellow range, I think Citadel's good. Nice selection to build up from. Usually I will start with Averland Sunset and then build up the yellow that I want. Yeah. I mean, like it all depends on what you're painting, to what level you want to paint it, right? It's many factors. There's many factors involved when just arbitrarily asking what's a good yellow. Fucking pick one, what are you painting? What is the detail? What is your process like? Do you do the base coat, highlight, shade wash phase? Like, do you paint like that? Or do you simply just start with a dark tone and build to the bright? Or do you start with the mid-tone, build to a dark and a bright? Or do you start with the bright and build all the way down to a dark? Like, so many variables, and just arbitrarily asking, what is good? Good is subjective. Somebody had asked. I posted the thing about the video, because I made it a video about that paint shaker. Oh, it was Leland had asked, is it worth it? And I almost wrote a big thing about worth. Like, worth is perceived. What's completely valuable to you might not be valuable to me, and vice versa, right? Just like the paint shaker itself. For me, spending the money on it to help myself, at least from what I was perceiving, to become a bit more efficient in my use of time and energy, the paint shaker made sense, and the worth, the value in what I spent on it, I found acceptable, as long as it lasts me a good long while. But I will take care of it, and I will not abuse it, and things of that. I'm not going to run it for long periods of time. I'm not going to use it like some sort of marital aid. I'm just going to use it as a paint shaker, what it was designed for, right? And so yeah, he had asked, is it worth it? I'm like, that's such an open-ended question, and is it worth is in the eye of the beholder, just like beauty. It's all completely subjective. You have a completely different view of it than I do. Some people might say it's a waste of money. Just shake the paint with your hand, you lily-livered cheese monkey. I don't know, but you get my meaning here. So, yeah. Aaron Seach, Kris, ever print out your own transfers? I'm looking for info on what is needed and how to go about it. Well, there's another one. Print your own transfers. You can just use a regular old printer and just get transfer paper. And I found I've done transfers myself. Back when Mini Wargaming wanted to do transfers on the Space Marines and wanted custom transfers, we just picked up transfer paper, printed the image onto the transfer paper, sealed it with an acrylic sealant, and then just carefully cut the shape out and transferred on, and it worked like a charm. And it worked fine. They weren't very strong, but that was just the nature of the pigment of the printer. Because if you have a printer that can print more opaque color, and also if you can print white, because most printers don't print white, right? They have yellow, magenta, and cyan with black. And with those four inks, because of the white of the paper, you don't need white, right? But an emulsion printer is for doing white transfers, like white images, and then of course more opaque images as well, because the white is very opaque in emulsion printers. And those printers, well, this was years ago, but they were expensive. Emulsion printers, very expensive. Now, if you want to do custom transfers, go to a service like Fallout Hobbies. He offers for a reasonable price. I mean, you're paying about $50 for a sheet, but my understanding is it's a pretty large sheet. I can't remember what size it is. It's bigger than the normal 8x11 sheets, like printer size paper. It's more like, if you ever get like the Forge World large format transfer sheets, it's like those. It's, from what I understand, I could be completely wrong. I've not ordered. I've been meaning to go through them, and I do want to get a set of transfers made. Space Marine transfers, of course. I want to get a sheet made, and I was thinking of going through them to do it, because it was only going to be about $50, and which I'm fine with that price, because basically I'm going to get a nice image, and it's going to be white transfers. So yeah. But yes, to answer your question, Aaron, yes, I have printed out my own transfers, and yeah, you'll have varying success. You can just go to Staples, pick up, or maybe not Staples. Staples might have it, but you just pick up transfer paper, run it through your printer. You have to set the printer, I think, to letter, because it has paper and letter, typically, most home printers, and you have to set it to letter, just because it's thicker stock. Just print your image through, grab an acrylic sealant, just any clear acrylic sealant, and just seal the transfer, and then when you need your image, you just cut your image very carefully, cut it out, apply it, and it works. It just works. Old man Logan, marital aid. Yeah, just use it. As long as I'm not using it as a marital aid, we'll be good. Fire Drake 18. What? There's transfer paper. Mini Wargaming used to use those instead of freehand. Everything is a lie. Yeah, everything is a lie. But you know, there was some people who freehanded designs. I remember on some of those models, because I know there was quite a few people commissioned to do miniatures in that paint scheme, and I know some of them used the transfers and some of them freehanded. And the people who freehanded, they did a good job. And the people who used the transfers, some of them didn't know how to use transfers. And so I was like, yeah. But it's all experience. George, for print your own transfers, I like use a laser printer. Yeah, use a laser printer too. Whatever. I mean, the medium in that regards, if doing your own printed transfers, having a laser printer or inkjet, it doesn't really matter. Sure, laser printer works just fine. Just buy the transfer paper, whatever ink or laser printer you have, run it through, use an acrylic sealant over the entire sheet of paper, 1 or 2 layers. That's all I would recommend, and that's it. Not heavy saturation, just a nice even layering, and just do that once or twice, and that's usually enough to seal the transfer. Because basically what ends up happening is when you cut the transfer out, the transfer is actually sitting on that acrylic sealant layer. So you really don't want that too thick, but you also don't want it too thin, because if it's too thick, it can become brittle depending on what brand of acrylic sealant you're using, but most of them have a flex anyway, so you should be fine. And the image is really small. It's pretty sturdy, right? And that is what sticks to the model surface. The paint or the paper, it just, once it becomes wet, it separates that image, and that image will slide off, and that's why it needs that acrylic layer on top of it. So, yeah. But if you want white images, you have to use an emulsion printer. And emulsion printers are expensive. Go ahead, Google up emulsion printers. They're expensive. They're pricey. But yeah, you can use a laser or inkjet. It's not a huge concern. I don't remember when we did the transfers if it was an inkjet. I'm pretty sure it was an inkjet. I don't think there was a laser printer at the time. I don't remember. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, if you're wearing headphones, turn them up or down, because here it comes. Email time. Email time. Oh, it's done. I don't hear the audio, so like I gotta watch the little like the levels bar. Anyway, this is from our good buddy Jabba's Left Nut. Beasties. As you said you had not many emails, thought I'd send one. These are leftover parts I've made into Beasts of Nurgle. Interesting. They were made out of DOS clay, and I only used about 50p worth of DOS. I have no idea what 50p is worth. Again, worth, subjective. Leftovers and a bit of green stuff for tentacles. So it's saved me 75 British pounds in kits I don't have to buy from GW. Love and Nurgly kisses. Jobs left nut. And so here are his beasties. Oh, look at these things. These are freaky. Okay, so we got a regular beastie in the middle. He looks pretty default to me. The thing on the left, that beast, that's freaky. It's a combination of like the Nurgle heads. I don't even know what the body is. Bits of body or arm. And the tentacles on the back of the left-hand guy, are those the green stuff you made? Did you use like a little coil thing for those tentacles? Is that what it is? The one on the right, that's freaky as hell too. He's got like the gimped up paw. He's got little tentacles everywhere. And he's wearing a hood. He's a beastie with a hood. It's freaky, dude. I like it. And yeah. That's some good sculpting, actually. Because you basically free-formed that entire body, didn't you? You sculpted an entire body. What are the fingers made from? Is that like a little roll or something? Like kind of like the little like little cabling? I know there's those little kits that offer those cabling, sculpting your own cables. You know what? Like honestly, like I see the texture you're building up here, and I think just keep going and build more texture onto these, and just duplicate what you see on like the big greater demon and like the beasts, and just replicate what you're seeing there, because it looks like that's what you're doing, and you're doing it pretty well. And so I'd like to see more of this on the rest of the model, because like here, it all looks relatively smooth, but like I don't know if you're done or not, like if you're done sculpting. But I hope you do more texture, like these things, like the little pustules, the little breaks in the flesh, those kind of things. I would like to see more. Yeah, see, you got it like down on the bottom there. This guy is freaky looking, man. This guy is like, why do I feel pain? Oh my God, he's like busting with maggots or something. That's freaky. He's got like a little French tickler one down at the bottom. Look at those ones that look like little pine cone shapes. Those looks like French ticklers. Now everybody was listening. Now everybody's like, wait, I gotta see these. What looks like a French tickler? What's a French tickler? Oh, he's got the big mouth on the side back there. Oh, that's gross. Yeah, these are really good, dude. I like them. This guy's just like a blob, just moving along, just tentacles everywhere. And then this guy's, obviously, he looks pretty stock to me. Oh no, he's missing. He's got the gimpy arm. He's got the little gimpy arm. That's my strong hand. Oh, it's the extra head, and then you sculpt the body. See, I thought it was. Oh man, pretty clever. Yeah, I think you should continue on and slowly build this texture out. Refine the image more. Like this looks like this is like the rough form, and then yeah, I definitely would build on top of this and push it further. Push it as far as it'll go. That sounded completely wrong. Whoop, wrong thing. There we go. Yeah, push it as far as it'll go, and see what you end up with. But that looks really fun. Thank you, Jabba's Left Nut, for sharing that with us. That's really awesome. I like it. It's a lot of fun, and it's good for a laugh. Where am I? I have no idea. Aaron Seach. I'm going to paint different paint scheme for Crimson Fist for 9th edition. Colors are based around Turbo Dork Cool Ranch Spicy Meatball with Midnight Blue. Gotta make transfers. Cool Ranch and Spicy Meatball. So you're going to do like the fist in the metallic red and do the metallic blue for the bodies? That's very cool. I want to see that. And you know what? If you do it very convincingly, I might copy it. I might steal the idea. Oh, Midnight Blue Ghost Tint. Right. Dark Commission. You have to be careful with the laser printer paper, printer decal paper. I had a Samsung that ran hot and melted a sheet all over the internal rollers. Had to throw the machine away. Interesting. I'd not heard of that. Interesting. Fire Drag 18. Noise. Ghost Starman Deluxe. Ooh, Nurgle conversions. Me likey. Yeah, me likey too. Nurgle bum. Ghost Jabba's left nut. All the bodies are rolled up tinfoil with DOS over them. Green stuff roller for the tentacles. Oh, okay, this is green stuff rollers. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Aaron, pics will be emailed. Please. Not right now, because it's after 2. And I said I was going to wrap this up at a normal time today, and I am. So keep those emails rolling in, folk. I do get to them. I'm completely caught up on emails, so if you send one today, I will read it on the next episode. And of course, yeah. And of course, if you need help with your color scheme, just want to show off what you're working on, or you have a question, send it to Kris at wayofthebrush.com. It is in the description below, as well as a link to wayofthebrush.com, central hub of all this silliness. Has links for all the social medias as well as Discord. Join us on Discord. It's a lot of fun. We keep the conversation rolling there 24/7, and of course we coordinate other efforts and just post crap, and you know, it's pretty much like this, just all day long. It's a bit of a madhouse, really. That's what it is. There's a lot of crazy people in there. It's really just a place for crazy people. Also at wayofthebrush.com is a link for t-shirts. Want to get yourself a t-shirt? Look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy. They're wearing a Way of the Brush t-shirt. And in fact, if you need to crush... No. I was going to make that the selling point. But anyway. And if you bought yourself a shirt, send a picture of yourself in your shirt, and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine, which also I will most likely incorporate into the next intro. So please do share those images. Or tag me, whatever it is. But send it to me. I prefer to send it because sending a picture of yourself in your shirt to me is more a sign of you giving me permission to post it than anything, really. So... Whereas if it's Instagram and I download it and blah, blah, you know what I mean? Then it's like I'm taking your image and, you know, whereas if you send me the original kind of thing, then, you know, well, whatever. Doesn't really matter. What was my rest of my ending spiel here? T-shirts, send a picture, right? Oh, also on wayofthebrush.com is a link for Patreon support. Huge thank you to all my patrons. Without your support, this channel, these videos, everything wouldn't be possible. Giveaways, having fun, maintaining all these servers and crap like that. So just basically keeping this all running is a huge thank you to my patrons. And oh right, we didn't even name the episode. Ghost Starman Deluxe. Painting attracts ladies. I'm running with that. That's what we're running with. So a huge thank you to all my patrons. And if you consider Patreon support, huge thank you. Varying tiers to support at, with perks at varying levels. So check it out. And a huge thank you for checking it out and possibly supporting. If you're not able to support monetarily, i.e. money, thumbing up the video, liking, commenting, subscribing, following, and all of that help the channel as well. And all it takes is a couple clicks of a button, and you're helping me out tremendously. So huge thank you to everybody. And of course, big thank you to Carl, aka Guymere Alfer, aka Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Check him out. If you love yourself some beer and you love yourself some Blood Bowl, Beer and Blood Bowl is where it's at. Always take the time. Thank Carl taking the time out of his busy day to create the email jingle that plays before the email segments of the show. And so always much love to Carl. And of course, speaking of love, my baby bro, Evan, for taking the time out of his busy schedule to create the intro outro music that plays before this show, and of course on game night as well. On Monday nights we do game night, and he did the intro. I got to convince him though to get me another bit of music for my getting projects done, because I don't have music for that, and I think it'd be kind of fun to have some music for that. I haven't actually picked out a song. I mean, I could pester him. He's been actually writing a lot of music lately, so I don't know if I feel like really pestering him for something kind of goofier, outside of like what he normally produces, because he produces a lot of rock metal kind of stuff, right? Anyway. So always much love to my baby brother, Evan, for creating the intro outro music. He actually made a full version of the song that plays for this show. He actually did like a re-rendering of it and made it more song-like. So if you want to check that out, I posted it on my Facebook, but if you go to his SoundCloud, Evan Ruins Everything. If you go to SoundCloud, you'll find it. If you follow me on SoundCloud, you'll probably find him, because I'm following him on SoundCloud as well. So, but if you want to check that out, or just follow him. Also, EB Comics. He sells rare comics as well, and yeah, so he's got the music and the comic book hookup, and I'm the nerd. Alrighty. Oh, we gotta change the episodes. That's right. We gotta name the episodes here. Hold on here. I'm all confuddled now. Painting attracts the ladies. It's very true. Sorry, I'm just trying to get through this here. There we go. It always says it updates, but it never updates. Not properly. There we go. Painting attracts the ladies. So anybody who's looking to, any of you fellas out there looking to attract a female, miniature painting is how it's going to happen. And I'm getting notifications that it worked. That's somebody attracting a mate. Like this is Animal Planet or something. Look at the wild miniature painting nerd as he displays his prowess attracting a mate of the opposite sex. I was trying to do it like Attenborough, but I don't have a smooth English accent. I can barely speak this English. Fire Drake 18, did the stream stop on YouTube? Did it? No, I still see it. Interesting. No, I'm still on Twitch and YouTube. Both show 5x5. Although maybe it was a spike. Did I get a spike? Oh yeah. Ooh, I had a couple spikes. Yeah. There were some spikes. There was some loss. There was some loss. There was packets lost. The packets were lost. All right, so we did the ending spiel. Jabba's Left Nut, Kris and Aaron, I'm ordering some transfer paper to experiment. I can print white ink, so leave it with me. That's right, Jabba. Because Jabba, big thank you to Jabba. As I was getting Patreon gifts, basically everybody's dice, Jabba, I was very grateful and thankful for Jabba helping me out and sending me a bunch of them stickers. I made a video about it a little while ago, and so everybody is getting stickers, and anybody who got dice before, how can I do it? I guess send me a message and I'll mail you some stickers if you really want stickers. But yeah, so Varying Tiers, everybody's getting stickers, and you're getting stickers, you in the back, you're getting stickers, everybody's getting stickers. But yeah, big thank you to Jabba. So yeah, if anybody, I guess, is this kind of thing, Jabba, that you're gonna try and break out into, is custom orders of paints and stuff like that? Because if that's the case, then I'd rather go to Jabba and give Jabba money to print me off a sheet. Ghost Starman Deluxe, hee hee, great victory for Ghost. Okay. Fire Drake 18, weird, it cut out for me. Yeah, well, I show a big spike, so a spike must have occurred. Wasn't you. Board Game Maniacs, there he is. What's up, Rob? My paintbrushes bring all the girls to the yard. Yeah. Now I want to sing that. Jabba's Left Nut. No, just for fun and for free. Okay, well, tell you what, you take some images and try it on printer paper. Or you want us to send you the paper? Is that it? I don't remember. I don't remember what the hell you said. Oh, he's ordering some transfer paper to experiment. Yeah. Well, let us know. Jabba, keep us in the loop. Let's keep the conversation rolling on this one in the Discord. In the whatever. But yeah. Anyway, I think we're done. We're done. Doctor. Will do. Awesome. All right. I'm getting the hell out of here. We're having some early Father's Day extravaganza. I don't know what it is. I think we're just taking a nice pleasant drive. I think we're going to go for a picnic, I think is what it is. Something like that, I suppose. But either way, I will see you guys later. I'm just trying to think, was there any parting words of wisdom? I think that was it, right? Yeah. Take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you, and I will see you guys next week. Next week? Yeah, next week.